What is going on, guys? This is Daniel, and today we'll be talking about Trae Young Summer League. The 5th overall pick for the Hawks had an up and down summer league, showcasing his great strengths but also his weaknesses. In today's part 1, I'll be talking about his offense and what he brings to the table. Let's get to it. Let's start with Trae in transition and early offense, and this was an area he was particularly aggressive in, always looking to attack, and here he does a nice job of attacking Grayson Allen coming down the floor and making a nice pass. Trae also has great passing vision, and we saw this in the open court on this play, throwing a nice look-away pass to find John Collins rim running to the basket. He did though get a bit out of control at times in the open court. On this play, he doesn't really seem to have a plan, gets ahead of himself, and makes an ugly turnover. He would attack, which is great, but then force the issue in some kind of way when nothing is available. So in this play, he looks to attack in early transition, but there's no real advantage, he doesn't get by his man. So at this point, he should throw it back to Collins on top and they should set up the offense or get it moving, but instead he forces up a bad floater. We also saw his criticized shot selection in transition. Here, for example, he'll come down and he'll take one of his long, crazy three-pointers. And what really makes no sense about this play is that there's no one in position to offensive rebound because he's taking it so early, and that's just an awful shot. He did hit a couple of these shots, but considering he only shot 27% from 3 in Summer League, he has yet to earn the right to take these shots, in my opinion. And while in Summer League he spent most of the time with the ball in transition, I like his potential as someone who runs the floor while someone else brings it up, because this is where he can get those good catch and shoot threes as you see here. Now let's move on to finishing, which will definitely be a big part in determining his NBA success, particularly because he is a small point guard who isn't the most explosive athlete. And particularly early on in Summer League, we saw him really try to challenge bigger and more athletic players as if he was a bigger guard. Here, for example, on the break, he really tries to lean into Derek White to gain separation, but White is too long and ends up blocking him. And here again on the break, you see he tries to do the same thing and gets blocked again. He was definitely adjusting to the longer athletes, and on this play he tries to challenge 2 rim protectors when there were 2 possible kickout passes that would have been better options. But in Vegas I thought he adjusted a bit, making plays like this instead of challenging the defender, dishing it off to a teammate, and I thought he proved throughout Summer League he's very adept at these kickout passes. The other option he will have is a 1-foot runner, which he likes to utilize and he's good at. Here, for example, he shoots it over the rim protector instead of going at him directly. Now, generally for NBA players, floaters aren't a great efficient shot, but Trae has a chance to make it a key part of his game if he's able to hit them at a high level, which he was able to do at Oklahoma, though if he settles for a lot of deep ones like you see here, that percentage won't be too high. Throughout his 7 Summer League games, he also flashed the ability to hit some of these unconventional, wild shots inside, though this definitely doesn't seem to be a sustainable way of finishing in the paint. And for every one of his impressive finishes, he had 1 or 2 shots where it just didn't drop over length. Now let's move on to the pick and roll, and let's actually go through the coverages Trae saw in Summer League. And one of the ones he saw, which he completely tore apart, is when the big came high to trap Trae. And Trae did a great job of consistently finding the roll man, as you see here, and on this play he actually will get it back and hit a 3. His reads are extremely advanced for his age. On this play, again you'll see the trap, but this time he's pressured quite hard and is unable to get that pass to the roll man. So what's the next best option? Getting it out of his hands quickly to a player 1 pass away, here to Mari Spellman, and that leads to the 4-on-3 opportunity and an open 3. Here it's Spellman who comes up to pick and pop, and when the big man comes high, Trae makes a nice wraparound pass to create an open 3. This may have been his best pass of the Summer League. So it's the pick and pop, but this time as he's getting trapped, he sees the defender coming from the weak side corner to rotate to the popping big. And without missing a beat, Trae fires a perfect cross-court pass to the opposite corner, and that's just a special play. Versus the traditional drop defensive coverage, Trae also had some success. So here you see the Spurs big man drops a bit more and Trae fires in a nice pocket pass to Collins. It's clear he has that skip pass down when the defenders converge on the rolling big. Now, in the previous two clips, he was able to find the open player because the big man did eventually commit to him, and we see that again here. So first of all, he shows advanced pick and roll feel, putting his man in jail after coming off of the screen, getting him on his back, allowing Collins to really roll and get in front of Trae, and then you see Mitchell Robinson ends up committing to Trae instead of dropping back, which frees up the pass to Collins, and it's a dunk. On this play, Trae tries to do the same thing and put his man in jail, but this time the sagging big man doesn't commit to Trae and drops all the way back. This doesn't free up an easy pass for Trae, and he ends up taking a floater, which is blocked. So he had a bit more trouble with this coverage, and this is something he'll see a lot in the NBA, especially if he isn't able to prove that he's an effective scorer in the paint to keep defenses honest, and on this play he again comes off the screen with the big man sagged and takes a floater. One of Trae's counters to the drop coverage is to shoot the pull-up three even when the on-ball defender goes over the screen. And this is an extremely difficult shot not too many NBA players can hit on a regular basis, and in Summer League Trae struggled with it, not really hitting too many. Now, if he can add it, it would be huge to counter this coverage, and I do like that he's taking it in Summer League instead of the pull-up mid-range shot, but again, it is questionable whether this will be a reliable shot for him at the next level. Let's talk about when Young got a big switched onto him, and this happened quite a bit, and I thought he did a pretty nice job of attacking it. Here, for example, the big is clearly afraid of Trae's shooting, hugs up to him, and Trae is easily able to blow by him and create something good. He's pretty quick and can obviously handle it well, and that allowed him to beat a few bigs on switches in Summer League. That being said, he definitely doesn't have elite quickness, and a few bigs were able to stay in front of him pretty well. Here, it's Jarnell Stokes who's able to contain him. His ability to beat switches will really come down to how much does that big man have to press up on him in fear of the jumper. If the big men in the NBA can comfortably give Trae this shot, he may have issues getting by switches. If he truly is an elite NBA shooter, driving lanes will open up. Next, I want to briefly talk about his off-the-ball game, and in Summer League he spent a lot of time with the ball, but I definitely think he projects as a nice off-ball player as well, mainly because he is a dangerous shooter who has to be respected. His gravity will be enough to create lanes for teammates. As you see here, a defender is hugged up on him, which frees up a dunk for a teammate. His shooting threat sets up his closeout game as well. Here, for example, Javon Carter attacks him hard on the closeout, making him put it on the floor, but Trae is good in these situations as he's a gifted passer. We see something similar here. He's run off the three-point line and is able to make a nice play on the drive. He definitely needs to improve moving off the ball and being more active, though I'm not concerned about this area as much as some others are. Though it's important because if he's more active off the ball, that sets up his ability to come off screens where he can be an effective player. He didn't come off many off-ball screens in Summer League, though this is definitely an area with good coaching he can show some real growth in. Well, there you have it, guys. Overall, I think there's a lot to like about his offense, and stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow, where I'll be releasing a video about his defense, going over it briefly, and at the end of that video, I'll give my overall take on his game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.